Hickok 45 here. Welcome to the Hickok 45 Talks channel. Hey, you found the Hickok 45 Talks channel. What a miracle. Well, I don't get that many people coming over here, but it gives me an outlet to just yak about anything or do anything I want. I call it the Talks channel, but I reserve the right to do basically anything. I don't, so just be aware of that. I mean, I don't need to shoot. We've got other places for that, but it is the primary thing. I'll sit around and yak about things, answer comments or questions, and in a very slow, boring, leisurely manner, right? Even more maybe than the Sunday video. I try to not to talk too long in the Sunday videos about random things. I do sometimes. I noticed recently I did, but I'm sorry. It's just me. Someone asked me, now this one I don't know, I'll try to avoid being egotistical about this, but someone asked me, and it's something that is interesting to me at least. He said, Hickok, this is a comment, did you ever think when you were young that you would be, and he goes on to, talk about what a celebrity gun guy and all this kind of stuff. I am now, supposedly. He said, I know the answer, but I'd like to see you answer it, though. It's crazy how life goes, isn't it? Yeah, kind of thing. Well, he's getting into the fact that, I do have a little piece of celebrity. I call it a little piece of celebrity, and on YouTube and in the gun world and in the, our YouTube world, video world, whatever. I am recognized a lot and that kind of thing, and which is not necessarily a compliment. A lot of people are recognized a lot for being idiots, right? If you're a big enough idiot, you might become a famous big idiot, But I know I might talk about it a little. It is a very interesting phenomenon, is why I'm tempted to talk about it at the risk of sounding egotistical, about it. Uh, you all know me. I've been doing this 18 years, and if you think I'm an egomaniac, you know that. I don't know what you'd base it on, but you already know that, and you think it is. I'm not going to change anybody's opinion one way or the other about anything. But it has been really interesting, and that really got me to thinking about it. Um, how things, mainly how random life is, and of course, I think you probably realize I don't we didn't start this to get really to get a lot, I don't know, it's kind of weird to get a lot of attention or to do something that was going to get big and fairly large and get tons of attention or that kind of thing. I had no concept, for those who were newer, we just posted, just thought it'd be fun, a lark I did for my students in school. I was teaching a novel involved, a Western novel, and Shane, and thought it'd be cool to shoot the guns that Shane carried and Western guns, get them excited about the novel, that kind of thing, and brought it into the classroom. I was teaching a high-tech school, and I was able to put that on the wall, and me shooting here at the range, a lever action gun, a Colt single action army like Shane carried, and that kind of thing, and firing real bullets, which I couldn't do at school. So that's how we got into it. Thought it'd be kind of fun. And then John said, "Hey, you want to do something else and put it on YouTube?" There's nothing much on YouTube. This was like 2007, six even, and so we did that for kicks, and literally for kicks, and to pass on a little knowledge. Some of the early ones we did were like, this is a Glock, and here's how it comes apart, and here's how it works. A Glock 19 takes it apart, put it back together and shot it some, and just information and having a little fun doing that. And a few people watched it, and it began to grow, and it was a little surprised. We didn't know how to edit video, those early videos. I guess we've since edited the first part out of those, but the first several videos, especially when I did several with a tripod, and then when John was home from school, we got to doing more. But there were some early ones. I don't know if we ever edited that out or what. I haven't seen those in forever, but I was reaching around the camera just like this. I just have to reach around, turn the camera on, and then start when I'm ready, when my brain's in gear, And then I edit that first part out, of me reach around, back around from turning the camera on. But we didn't know how to do that. We started, that kind of thing, and had no clue there was a penny to be made. About almost a year later, YouTube wrote and asked if we wanted to be partners and take banner ads and whatever. So, well, what's that all about? So we came to it from a different place. And nothing wrong with how people come to YouTube now. I'd be doing the same thing probably. If I was sitting around, I was too busy and just hadn't gotten into doing this, let's say, until, I don't know, couple of years ago or something. And I was retired from teaching. I might have, been just having fun, I hope, traveling or whatever, and thought, there's all these gun videos on TV or on YouTube I watch, learn about firearms. I ought to do a few of those. Maybe I could make a few extra bucks, fund my retirement, or whatever, and then have a little fun doing it, too. I know a little bit about firearms, and I mess with them. I got my own ring. I'd be doing the same thing, and I'd be thinking, man, this was pretty cool. Maybe get my subscriber and viewer base up and make a little money, and this be a neat kind of a alternate source of income or something. Yeah. So I'm not raining on anybody that does that, which is most people, of course, get into the video. Look at that. I mean, every area you can imagine, there's people doing videos and desperately. I say desperately, but sometimes it looks desperate. But I mean, people are just aggressive about doing anything they can to get more videos up and get views and subscribers and money and that kind of thing. And I can't blame anybody for doing that. Obviously, it's kind of what we're doing. But anyway, we were dumb and innocent. Started from a different place a long time ago, in a land far away, right? But so it has been interesting because there was no plan and there were no famous YouTube people or that kind of thing. There's probably no famous internet people. 2007 or 8, it was just a different world. So it has. So whatever level the little piece of celebrity that John and I have is totally unplanned, unexpected, and a surprise. I've mentioned before how surprised I was the first time somebody in a gun shop, this was probably 2008 or 7 or something, somebody hollered at me, "Hey, Hickok 45." They'd seen me on YouTube. We didn't have that many videos up, and I was at Guns and Leather in Greenbrier, Tennessee. I'll never forget that night. Coming out, was leaving the store, and some guy hollered at me, and it was really weird because I don't know, he just hadn't placed connected, out here doing a YouTube video with real people, watching that I might run into. I know it sounds odd that would be odd to me, but it really was. It really was. And of course, it's gotten a lot bigger since then. But anyway, it kind of demonstrates it's a demonstration of the randomness of life. That's kind of the way I look at it. And I've had a lot of that, in my 75 years. Randomness. I didn't even play basketball until I was a junior in high school, and then had no plans. Wasn't even sure I was going to college. And, 2 years later, I'm off to college on a basketball scholarship with big expectations of doing well, hopefully in my classes, but in basketball. And I did pretty well in basketball. But, and just worked hard and developed in a lot in a couple of years, 3 years and everything. And, things just happen, and well, they don't happen. You do it, but still, I was all of a sudden I was in a different world 2 or 3 years later, totally different world. From not even being on a basketball team in my life, and then until I'm a junior in high school, and then all that, and there's just bam, there it goes, and then of course then that's over in 4 or 5 years. And so the randomness, the way things work out, maybe it's a sign of an unplanned life, someone who doesn't plan very much. But I didn't plan to major in English. I was not a stellar student in high school. I was a goofball boy, like many of us, and I didn't. I didn't get interested in literature. I kind of had an interest in literature in high school. As I got into my junior and senior year, those were the classes I enjoyed the most. And then as I got into college, those were the classes in the graduate curriculum that I enjoyed the most. And so, again, no major plans. I, 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 I talked with a couple of people and about that. Wow, I really enjoyed this, but I don't think I could major in English. I don't have the background. I don't think I'm not that great a writer. I don't think. And anyway, don't know if I'm smart enough to do that. Not that you have to be a genius to major in English, but so I talked to a couple of people. I went to the head. I had the head of the department at Austin P. Dr. Ed Irwin. Anybody who's listening to this that knew him, to know him is to love him. He was a great guy. Great guy. And I had him for a class, undergraduate class, and so I felt like I knew him a little bit. And he was the head of the department, and I don't think he was a basketball fan. He knew a little bit about it. He would make jokes about the basketball a little bit, that kind of thing. Might being a basketball guy there. I went in and talked to him one day and just leveled with him. I said, I enjoyed your class. I enjoy the literature and what I'm learning, and it's expanding my mind. I'm becoming a genius, and I actually am entertaining the thoughts of majoring in that, in English. I said, am I an idiot for thinking that? I said, I don't feel like I have the grammar background, some different things. And, you can make up for that. You can. I mean, he was very positive about it, and of course, he was so pleased, I guess, that I was contemplating that. I guess if you're the head of the English department or the head of the math department, you're always wanting more math majors or English majors, right? So, but he was such a great guy anyway, and he basically talked me into it, and I did, and so. Wham, there's another big, weird, random thing that I would never have expected. My high school English teachers, middle school English teachers would never have expected. I'm an English major, and I'm enjoying it and doing pretty well. And then I ended up teaching English for 29 years and enjoyed that. Yeah, who knew? Did I get off the topic? I guess I did, didn't I? But I think the topic is just the randomness, the way things work out. You don't know what you plan to do, and there's a lesson in that for youngsters. Man, I talk about that with my wife and other people. Wow, I don't know, my grandson and just young people in general. What do you study for? What do you plan for your career? You might think you want to do something, some career that sounds interesting, looks interesting. You know somebody, an uncle, an aunt that do that for a living, and you plan and maybe study towards that. Well, in about 6 months, AI eats up that career. You don't know, or things just change, or you just change your mind as you get out. You're not sure what you're going to do, and you change your mind. Things change, yeah, which is very likely, right? So, I guess this YouTube thing is a little bit like that. Not expected, not planned, but here we are, and here we have been, and it's been a great experience. So to answer the guy's question, did you ever think this would happen and all that kind of thing? And I think people, and I've seen comments like that before, and people in person at meet and greets will say, "Boy, I bet you didn't expect this," in a long line of people to meet us or whatever, and funny the way things work out, because people who have some insight into life and some maturity, especially, know how life goes, and they know me. They've seen the videos, right? That's really the underlying theme here. It's like, which is not an insult, because I know me, but they look at me. You look at me probably, and doing gun videos or doing these dumb things or whatever I'm doing, and you're thinking. I've said this from early on. We've probably spawned a lot of gun YouTubers, because they looked at our videos early on as we began to grow and get quite a good following. They looked at me and thought, because I would have done the same thing. Wow, I know guns. I enjoy firearms. I could do video. That guy, he has a pretty good following, and look at him. The guy ain't that smart. I'm going to do this. So, yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people have started YouTube channels after seeing us. You know, it's not like they would watch our videos. Like I might watch, I don't know, a trapeze artist or something. Hey, I want to do that. Well, yeah, but I can't. Or if you're female and you're watching some show and there's these gorgeous supermodels, and hey, I want to do that. Oh, well, I can't. I'm not that pretty, or that gorgeous, or whatever it might be. Or an NFL football game. Hey, I would love to play quarterback for an NFL team, but I can't do that. I can't throw a ball. I don't have the skills. But if you were watching us in our videos back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 12, anytime, 2025, you're that is not a problem. You say, hey, guy has a pretty good following. You're doing these gun videos. The thought would never occur to you, oh, well, I couldn't do that. That guy's too smart. Oh, well, that guy's too much of an expert. I couldn't do that. So we've spawned, I'm sure, a lot of people, getting into this, and I'm proud of that. Yeah, take pride in that. So yeah, no one expected. We didn't expect it, and it's an interesting thing. It's given me more independence to do what I want to do. It's been great. It's the reason I thank you guys all the time, and I always have time to chat with you. I just do. If I've ever seemed to be in a hurry, I apologize, because that basically doesn't happen unless I am on the way to a fire or something, or a doctor's appointment somewhere I can't be late, a flight, which that's not really happened. I'm happy to speak with people, because you guys are the reason that get to do this, the reason it happened, and I'll always be immensely grateful for that, because again, I ain't nothing special. I just got some guns out of my range, and I've got some pretty neat targets and fun to shoot, and I enjoy firearms thoroughly, a variety, and just all those things combined got us going, and a lot of people have watched. It's more competitive now. There's a million people doing gun videos, and the way YouTube works is so different. Doesn't matter what kind of following you have or had, or whatever views on a certain video. It just doesn't matter. They want the drama, the clickbait, or all that to push anything. So it's a different world now. It's a different world. So we're especially appreciative of our loyal viewers that keep coming back and find us in the horde of gun videos and other videos. It's not just gun videos that if you're doing gun videos, it's not just gun videos you're competing with, right? It's every video about cars or how to pave a driveway, whatever it is. The whole world is on YouTube, and all of media. There's information and entertainment. I don't have TikTok, but that, and shorts, and just everything that's going on. And then at the same time, when people are trying to pull themselves away a little bit and spend less time on the screens and living actual real life. And so we've got all that going on. But anyway, I'm glad you came around, and you come around, and yeah, it has been very, very interesting. People that ask that and say things like that. But you never thought this would happen. You're right, absolutely. Again, the randomness of life. You never know what the next month or year is going to bring. You really don't. You have a pretty good idea if you plan for things, but things can go in a totally different direction. And my advice to young people is, be flexible, study a lot of different areas, and try to keep up with, I guess, the technology to a certain extent. Don't be afraid of anything that's new, whether it's a polymer pistol or a laptop or whatever it might be, because it could play a major role in your life at some point. You just don't know, like computers did in my life. I've talked about that. I was an early adopter, got into it in '81, bought my own Apple, and doesn't mean much to you because well, what's '81? Didn't everybody have a computer? No, they didn't. Hardly anybody did, and a microcomputer, and that took me into a whole new vast arena and job opportunities and opportunities at various companies where I was, and even in the education field. So one little decision you make that might have been totally random, you almost didn't do that or make that decision or go in that direction with something, it just launches you into who knows what. Or it doesn't launch you into anything, or you just never know what's going to happen. So the randomness of life, yep, it's always there, but it keeps it interesting. It really does. It really does. So the YouTube thing has been great. It's been fun, and it still is fun. And I'm just glad y'all come around because I'm just a normal guy that likes to shoot. And apparently, a lot of you all are the same. Life is good.